Hi, my name is Janine Knight. I am the Virtual Content Specialist for grades K through 2 students with disabilities in science. This is video 3 of 3 in a series of videos supporting struggling students by using cooperative learning strategies that promote active student engagement, as stated in the book High Leverage Practices in Special Education by the Council for Exceptional Children at the Cedar Center. This series focuses on Grade 1, Unit 4, Sun, Moon, and Stars, Day 107. How did the sun, the moon, and stars appear to change position in the sky? In this part of the lesson, students are asked to watch a video and analyze the information to determine the answers to these 4 questions. In order to support students who may struggle with this task independently, this video series focuses on using the cooperative learning jigsaw strategy to promote active student engagement for all students through peer-assisted, strategic, small group work. According to jigsaw.org, the Jigsaw Classroom has a 4-decade track record of successfully increasing positive educational outcomes. Just as in a jigsaw puzzle, each piece, each student's part is essential for the completion and full understanding of the final product. If each student's part is essential, then each student is essential. And that is precisely what makes this strategy so effective. So in the second part of this series, we discussed the setup of the jigsaw technique. We discussed the home group and the home group expectations. So from the home groups, they move to expert groups. Today we're going to discuss the last part of the jigsaw method, and that's the share and assess part. So students return to their home groups and present their expert group topics to their home group members. Home group members listen and answer the question based on the expert's information that they are teaching to the group. So we are back in our home groups in order to share our expert group information. With younger students, it is important to practice cooperative learning small group techniques as part of the classroom's rituals and routines. So something like a jigsaw, which is the cooperative learning strategy that I adopted as a best practice in my classroom. I did introduce it in the beginning of the year. Also, another thing that is helpful to make a part of rituals and routines is showing students how to share their screen. So there's screen sharing options for different smart boards for students who are in person. You can share your screen in the same way you share your phone screen to a television. You can share your student's iPad screen to the smartboard or their laptop screen to the smartboard as well. I do show students how to share their screen in Google Meets. I use Google Meets. So in order to do that, and when we're back in the home groups, it is important to have the student share their screen to the other students so that each student who's presenting would get a chance to present their screen. They could present a window, your entire screen. I usually like to present my entire screen. This way I can click tabs, but for the students, it could be either one. I would then click here and the students will be able to share their screen in the same way that we would be able to share our screen. And they will be speaking, but they will not be able to see the other students, but they will be able to present to the other students in that way so the students can see the information that they're trying to present. Those are 2 important tips that will be helpful in creating routines that make this process a lot easier, especially with the younger grades. It is worth taking the time to practice this, and then you can use it at any time across any content. And lastly, we're at the assessment for all content for each student. So I like to use a self-assessment rubric. It's cooperative learning. I did find this one online, but you can make one that fits. In this case, it helps students understand where they fall in terms of helping in their group, listening in their group, participating in their group, and respecting all group members. So this is just part of the students knowing their expectations. And lastly, each student, when they get to their home groups, will have one graphic organizer completed. However, each student is expected to have all 4 questions answered as an exit slip. The students will open up the question for each expert group member who is presenting in this home group. In the event that you would like to offer the students the choice to be able to write with a pencil or digitally type, you can do that by adding lines to this box. And how I do that is I insert a table and I just make it, let's do 5 lines. And I take this table and I toggle it. Let's toggle it this way, because for little ones, you want the lines to be a little bit bigger. Need a little bit of space there. Now you have lines to be able to print. If you have the lines there for them to fill it out digitally or print it, like if they're at home and you don't have access to hand them the printed paper, they can type inside this box. However, they're only going to be able to type in one cell of the table, which is fine too. There's no harm in that, but that would give them the option at home to print it or to type inside the box. So the students would turn in their completed digital journal. They would have their completed cooperative learning rubric about how they worked in their expert group. By their completed journal, you would be able to assess how they worked in their home group. And that's it. That's all we have. So thank you for listening. And I also want to note that the inspiration for this series came from High Leverage Practices in Special Education by the Council of Exceptional Children at the Cedar Center. So thank you again for listening. See you next time.